Precipitation is oftentimes talked in terms of average amounts. Average amounts in semi-arid areas rarely occurs. What you have are periods of excessive precipitation for weeks or maybe months at the most, followed by months or years of less than average precipitation. And that makes planning very difficult.
Rain has been in short supply since February. Sea surface temperatures are below average across the central and eastern Pacific Ocean. This is a signal that a La Nina pattern is present, and it's going to last into next year. The impact of La Nina on the region is clear. Extreme drought is stressing the economy, agriculture, and water supplies.
Natural systems don't retain that much water. In particular, carbonate aquifers like the Edwards. Those aquifers are very good at conveying large quantities of water very quickly, but they don't retain water for long periods of time.
While the Edwards aquifer is a big part of our water supply, only the top 5 to 10% of it is available for use. Our dependence on it has changed.
SAWS is no longer, and the community of San Antonio, therefore, is no longer entirely relying on the Edwards aquifer. The Edwards aquifer is a miracle of hydrogeology. It's always going to supply the lion's share of our water for our community, but it's vulnerable to drought.
In 1995, 100% of San Antonio's water came from the Edwards aquifer. Today, San Antonio has a total of 15 water projects and 9 sources of water to limit the impact of drought on the city.
One of the coolest things that SAWS has done is develop something called aquifer storage and recovery. It's kind of a wonky sounding term to people, so think of it as a water bank. We have nearly a half a year's supply stashed away in that water bank, and we can bring it back to the tune of 60-70 million gallons a day and take it to 2 different areas of town now.
San Antonio has been one of the best examples of conserving water, but over the past 20 years or so, population has increased by 40 or 50%, but the amount of water that's being used by the greater San Antonio community has stayed about the same, and that's impressive.
Developing alternative water supplies for the city is important. Wise use of that water is equally important. We are caught in a drought flood pattern influenced by climate change and controlled by the connection between the atmosphere and the ocean thousands of miles away. What we do to adapt to our changing climate will determine the availability of water for future generations in the region.